chi gyd i'r drydydd rhaglen yn y gyfres o FCTV. Fy enw i yw Rhiannon Davies ac rwy'n gweithio fel rheolwr rhanbarthol y De-orllewin i gyswllt ffermio. A heddiw byddwn yn ymweld ac yn clywed y newyddion diweddara o rhai o'r ffermydd rydym yn gweithio gyda sydd wedi arallgyfeirio yn ddiweddar. Mae arallgyfeirio wedi bod yn bwg poblogaidd ers degawdau a does dim byd wedi newid eleni, gyda nifer o ffermwyr ar draws Cymru yn edrych ar ychwanegu incwm ychwanegol i'w busnes. Yn ystod y rhaglen, byddwn yn clywed oddi wrth yr arbenigwr busnes, Jeremy Bowen Rees, yn ymweld â busnes sydd wedi mentro mewn i'r byd gerddoriaeth, clywed oddi wrth doi ffermwr sydd wedi ychwanegu gwerth at y sector defaid, trafod y sector twristiaeth, ond yn gyntaf, fe wnawn ni ymuno â Dafydd Owen, sydd ar ein fferm ffocws o fewn y sector moch.
So croeso yma heddiw yma i fferm Forest Coulpit yn y Fenni, un o safleoedd ffocws sydd gennym ni fel rhan o rhwydwaith ar ddangos cyswllt ffermio. Dafydd Owen dwi, swyddog technegol moch i cyswllt ffermio, a dwi wedi bod yn gweithio yma efo Kyle Holford a Lauren Smith, sy'n chydig dros flwyddyn bellach ar amryw o brosiectau gan gynnwys prosiect sy'n edrych ar cymharu gwahanol ddiets mwyn gweld yr effaith mae glaswell yn cael ar ansawdd y porc. Ond y rheswm da ni yma heddiw yma ydy gael sgwrs gyda Kyle a Lauren a cael clywed sut maen nhw wedi datblygu y busnes ers symud yma o Lundain nôl yn 2014.
Hi, we're Kyle and Lauren and we run Forest Coulpit Farm, a farrow to finish operation running 24 sows on 20 acres, and we finish about 500 pigs a year. We run a breed of our own making that's a large black Duroc cross. We tried a lot of different rare breeds in the beginning and sort of settled on the large black. We found that sort of suited our system quite well. The large black is a great rare breed, but got quite a lot of fat for the consumer. So we decided to cross that out with a Duroc, which brings the back fat levels down, but increases all the marbling, which equals flavour. And then we sort of settled on that, and that's pretty much what we run. We run all of our pigs fully outdoors, fully free range for their whole lives, from farrowing to finishing. So we wanted to, when we first started, we realised we had to do something a bit different. So in one way the breed is a bit different, but in another way the system is a bit different in some ways. There's very few pigs that are finished outdoors, so we really just wanted to have a USP. And the things that we are focusing on is we really focus on managing the grass and just having a lot of forage in front of the pigs that enables them to have a better tasting pig and just different from your commercial pork.
Most of our marketing, in the beginning when we started, we were trying to compete with commercial pigs, and the product we had was very different. So sometimes the customer wouldn't be happy with that and would give us feedback on that. So what we did is we found customers who wanted what we had and liked it and loved it. So we use a lot of word of mouth, we phone restaurants, and then Instagram has been great for us as well. We get a lot of customers through there, whether they're private direct customers, butchers or restaurants. Carcass balance can be a problem, but the way out of that we found was sausages. We can make a great product that everyone wants and put our shoulders and our legs, if we have any spare, into sausages, and they sell because everyone loves sausages.
I think one thing that the pandemic has really done is it's really increased the direct sales, and I think there's sort of twofold effect of consumers have also been wanting to know more about where their food is from. So I think now's a really great time to engage on that, and I think if you're offering good quality and good value and you're hitting that market right, you've got a really good opportunity for that. As we started off and we weren't from a farming background, there were obviously a lot of problems in just learning how to run pigs. And when I sort of first started, I really felt like I was on the back foot because I didn't have any previous knowledge in farming. But then we actually found that was a real benefit because then we can just sort of look at stuff freshly. and a lot of all of the problems that we overcame, although it would have been nice to just know how to do it right the first time, we really learnt a lot about all the various different bits within a pig system.
Well, we've had a lot of help along the way developing our enterprise. We've had a lot of help from Farming Connect and Mentor Mock. Specifically, I had a butchery day down at Horab, which was great. We've also had digital one-to-one, which was fantastic, and having that one-to-one advice with an expert has just been magnificent.
We've also started mentoring through Farming Connect that we've really enjoyed, and we've found that to be very beneficial because you can really just get that knowledge to the people that want it, and you can really focus on the areas that they need that knowledge. We've also, with Farming Connect, done a really exciting focus site project where we've looked at the benefit of raising pigs on grass, mainly from a meat point of view to see if there's any difference in the meat, but we've also looked at it from a production point of view to see if there's any difference in the pigs' growth rates. So we're currently waiting for results on that. We've completed it. The pigs have been sent to the abattoir and the meat's getting tested as we speak. So really excited to see the results of that.
So my top tips for farmers looking to diversify into pigs would be to go for it. They're one of the easiest animals to keep. They're easier than sheep and cattle, and there's growing demand for high quality local pork, and pork sales are second only to chicken in the meat market. So I would say go for it.
Top tips for someone getting into pig farming is, I would say, always be on top of your costings like you should in any farming enterprise, but it's easy to run away because obviously you've got high input costs from the feed for the pig, and also work backwards and figure out what your end goal is, what your end goal market is, and then once you have that in view, you can work backwards and you can do a pig to suit that, you can do a production cell to suit that, and then hopefully that should be a success.
Fel pob menter, mae'n gofyn i gynllunio yn ofalus os ydych yn meddwl am arallgyfeirio. Un o'r rhai sydd wedi cefnogi busnesau i arallgyfeirio yw Jeremy Bowen Rees o gwmni Lansker.
I think there are a number of things that I would suggest that farmers to consider before they consider diversification. First is to look at their current farm location, what their farm situation, and what most interests them as a family, because they need to consider all of those factors, and that will largely determine, what they then choose to do. So those things are critical. I'd also then ask them to do a lot of research, look at what the trends are. The world's changed a huge amount over the last 2 years. There are a lot of opportunities. So it's important that farmers do their research. If they have a good idea, look to back it up by looking at what is best practice elsewhere and identify what the true trends are. Thirdly, once they've done that, I would then, choose on something they want to do and then create a realistic plan. So actually writing it down on pen and paper makes a big difference, and it starts to come to life, and then they become a bit more realistic about what they should do. I'd also suggest now's the time to be bold and innovative. I think, farmers can create their own sort of recipe and do something that specifically suits them, and consumers and businesses are looking for innovation and to try new things. So don't be afraid to try new things or to innovate. And lastly, I think it's really important that they should use technology wherever they can within their farm. If they've got signal connectivity problems, that is an issue. But using technology effectively now is as important as water coming out of a tap. So those are the key things that I would suggest farmers consider before they diversify.
What would you say are the key considerations for farmers looking at starting a new enterprise within tourism?
Okay. I have never been more confident for the tourism marketplace in rural sectors, especially Wales, over the last 20 years. So I would suggest that they find their particular niche and they focus on that. So if they're considering self-catering tourism, to determine if that is good quality glamping or converted farm buildings or lodges or pods, whatever. But it needs to be different and better than what exists currently, and they need to fit that to their location. I also think they then need to determine who their target customers are. Are they going for the family market? Are they going for the activity market? Are they going for couples, cash-rich, time-poor people? Because you can't be all things to all men. So identify what your target niche is going to be. I'd also say to bear in mind that Wales is becoming a lot less seasonal, and tourism has traditionally been seasonal. If you think you're going to be a seasonal business, you will be. So look to create a product or service or accommodation that will generate custom all year round, because it's much easier to manage and run a business if you don't have those peaks and troughs and seasonality. And lastly, I would urge any businesses considering going into tourism to consider the implications of COVID, because it's going to be with us for another 2 or 3 years. So those tourism facilities that have shared usage, especially toilet blocks or showers and wet rooms, are going to be first to close if they shut down. So look at having sort of independent, self-contained units. I'd also say there's great opportunity for those that are in good roadside locations to look at farm shops, because we have a lot of more tourists coming to Wales now, and a lot of locals are engaging with the local economy and wanting to support local businesses. So if they've got a good farm side location, consider a farm shop, because we've got fantastic artisan producers in Wales. So we've got a lot of products that would be happy to be stocked in those shops. I'd also consider on-farm activities, and I don't mean a woodland walk or something gentle like that, because that's quite difficult to generate income from it. But if it's to do with activities using the natural contours of the land, whether it's adventure courses, zorbing, mountain biking, whatever it's going to be, I think there's huge opportunities for farmers to look at on-farm activities. And we've noticed at Landscrew a lot of diversification in that area over the last couple of years, because people are wanting experiences now, so they're looking for that innovative thing. I'd also consider preparing more of their own foodstuffs. So if farmers are producing food and they can add value to it, and if they've got tourism accommodation on farm as well, then those customers are naturally going to want to buy their produce. And local businesses are also wanting local farm produce, and that's part of the tourism economy. Don't underestimate the importance of food and drink.
Mae wedi bod yn flwyddyn da iawn i'r sector cig-oen eleni. Ond mwyn sicrhau dyfodol i'r busnes, heb ddibynnu ar prisau'r farchnad, mae dau ffarmwr wedi edrych ar opsiynau gwahanol iawn i'w diadylloedd. Yn gynharach yn y tymor, fe fu Geraint Hughes yn ymweld â Peter Williams o Ynys Môn, sydd wedi mentro gyda bryd arbennig o ddefaid. Yn dilyn hyn, byddwn yn ymuno gyda Scott a Isabel Coates i glywed fwy am y fenter godro defaid.
Croeso, dyma ni ar fferm Caer Myrddin, fferm Peter Williams a'r teulu, sef prif safle'r prosiect EIP sydd wedi bod yn edrych ar fewnforio defaid bryd Dymara, bryd Cynffon Tew am y tro cyntaf i Gymru. Ges i'r plesar o gydweithio efo'r grŵp yma i ddatblygu'r prosiect fel brocer i'r prosiect EIP, a da ni wedi llwyddo i fewnforio embryos a semen y bryd Dymara, a wedi bod yn edrych ar trealu pilota a dysgu sut mae'r bryd yma yn ymdopi efo'r amoda yma yng Nghymru. A bwriad y grŵp ydy edrych ar manteisio ar y cyfle yn y farchnad i werthu cig Dymara i'r farchnad yma yng Nghymru ac ym Mhrydain. Felly dyma ni ar y ffarm, Peter. Sa'ch chi roi bach o gefndir byr i ni am y busnes?
Gyn nhw gan acar sgynnon ni a defaid fwyaf, chydig iawn o warthaig. Dyn da ni am rhywfaint o solar panels ar y cua hefyd. Dyn just bi am opsiwn arall efo'r defaid mewn ffordd. Gweld swn ni gael niche market i beth na'r income mewn ffordd, bwstio'r income mewn ffordd.
O ia, ddechrau. Da ni ma'n Sir Fôn, ti'r gwastad, a da ni yn y shed efo'r defaid Dymara, a hwn ar rhan o prosiect EIP. Wrach chi rhaid bach o syniad i ni o lle ddoth y syniad ar gyfer y prosiect?
Yn y Middle East, 1991 ydi ymddwy flynedd ar ffarm mowr ddefaid. Ond ryffryd 30,000 o ddefaid breidio yna.
Felly o'r cyfnod yna yn gweithio yn y Dwyrain Canol, oedd y syniad yn eich pen chi felly?
O, blynyddoedd.
A dwi'n cofio chi sôn am y farchnad a chi di adnabod ar gyfer y cig. Wedyn, be di'r gobeithio'n wedyn dros y tymor hir?
Wel, gobeithio gan ni niche market yn Lundain gobeithio da. A wnawn ni ddechrau local efo'r rei restaurants, cos maen wedi cael samples a maen nhw reit keen i gael wneud rhywbeth efo ni rha yma da.
A beth sydd yn arbennig am y cig felly?
Reit sweet da, wedyn lai o brastar yn y cig ei hun, ond mae brastar yn y cwmffon da.
Ia.
Mae'n wahanol bethau da.
Llawn gwerchiadau.
Iawn, diolch.
Dwi'n weld be fy'n digwydd dros y tymor hir, ia.
I'm Scott Coates, and this is my wife Isabel Coates, and this is our little one Oscar Coates. We're here at Sundales Farm, Monmouth.
My dad used to milk pedigree Holstein, stopped milking in 2012. We've had since then commercial cattle and commercial sheep. Me and my husband moved into the farmhouse just before Christmas in 2020. And have taken over the farm, all the day-to-day running from there, and we decided to go into milking sheep. When our little boy Oscar was 6 months old, he was diagnosed as lactose sensitive. So we tried lots of the other milks that didn't really work for him. So we bought frozen milk, sheep's milk, and tried that, and that seemed to work. So that was why we decided to diversify.
We contacted Farming Connect, and they put us in touch with Geraint, with the Agri-Sop group. And so we did a bit of consultation with some of those. And then just sort of internet research. And
when looking for sheep, we ended up contacting lots of milking sheep farms that were either processing themselves or where they were selling their milk, so that's how we did our research.
We decided to go with the Friesland, being the most commonly milked sheep, and they produce the most milk per animal. So we bought 20 in lamb ewes last year, and they've all lambed down and they've lambed they milked their first season. We have now bought 7 more aged ewes to add to the flock, as well as some ewe lambs, and we're keeping some of our own ewe lambs. So yes, we are going to be expanding towards 30 ewes next year. So the ewes are milked in the morning, they have their lambs all day, and the lambs then split off at night. So the ewe's got a bag full of milk in the morning. We do that for about 4 to 6 weeks. Then the ewes then go to twice a day milking, and the lambs are fully weaned. And we milk them for 7 months approximately before being dropped to once a day milking and then being dried off.
So we're quite lucky. Our normal flock treat, we don't treat or worm them anyway. With the milk sheep, there's very few products you can use, especially with fly treatments. There's no click treatments you can use. Therefore, the milking sheep have been shorn twice this year, and they may be shorn 3 times some years. We're very lucky. The vets have been heavily involved with our transition from the commercial sheep to the milking sheep and have guided us where needed, because there are very few antibiotics you can also use. We're fortunate we haven't needed any antibiotics in our first season, and hopefully that will continue. So this was our old bolt tank room when we were milking the pedigree Holsteins. So we bought the stand second hand that came with the buckets. We kept the same pulsation and motor system that we had, and it was just converted to sheep. We were very lucky. We didn't have to invest a huge amount. The stand and the buckets were around £1,000. The converting, which was done by a local milking company, was about £2,000, and then sourcing the sheep was probably the most expensive thing for us.
So we decided we'd have to process all the milk here on the farm. Having looked at the buildings we had available, we decided that they weren't really suitable. So we converted this 40-foot shipping container into our production facility. We wanted it on the farm for the convenience of being able to process whenever we wanted to.
This is our wine chiller that we were lucky enough to get second hand, and we mature one of the cheeses in there. This is a fridge freezer that we were given where the milk is stored, and then the freezer is where the culture is stored. This is our cheese vat that we bought brand new, holding 200 litres. So in here we pasteurise the milk, then we cool the milk to the right temperature, then we add different cultures and then leave for an hour or so, then add rennet, then cut the curds, and each cheese has a different process from there on, some heating, some adding hot water. We also were lucky enough to get a draining table and sink second hand and an old-fashioned press. We currently do 5 different types of cheese. The 2 softer cheeses, which is a feta style and a halloumi style, we've been making in the milking season. And then currently maturing, we've got 3 hard cheeses, one that's like a Caerphilly cheddar style, one that's a Gouda, and the other one is the take on a Manchego. So currently we are using mostly local farmers markets or town markets, nearly all direct selling to the public. We have recently done one wholesale into a local cheese shop.
Yeah, I definitely think there is definitely potential for increasing the amount of sheep milk produced in Wales. What with being known for our sheep and good grass, as long as we can find a wholesale market for the milk, because at the moment it's very difficult having to process the milk all yourselves on the farm. So some advice I'd give to people would be to make sure you do your research and know what you're going to do with the milk. Consult your vets with all health issues and try and source as good a quality stock as you can.
Sector arall sydd wedi gweld cryn dipyn o ddiddordeb yw garddwriaeth. Mae Debbie ar fferm Ger Rhuthun sydd wedi bod yn tyfu amrywiaeth o blanhigion mwyn targedu marchnadoedd gwahanol.
Hello and welcome to Kai Dairy Focus Site. My name's Debbie Handley. I'm the Horticulture Technical Officer for Farming Connect for North Wales. We're near Rhuthun in Denbighshire, and Kai Dairy was one of our focus sites looking at diversification into growing crops. Lucy Owen is our farmer, and we're very much looking forward to hearing from her about the project that she's doing for us. Farming Connect are following Lucy's progress, and we're supporting where possible.
Hi, I'm Lucy Owens, and this is my diversification project at Kai Dairy. We are running this alongside our sheep enterprise. It's around an 1.5 acre plot, which we've had since September last year. We've had agronomy support. We've also which couldn't happen initially because of COVID, but then we've gone on to have site visits, which have been fantastic. We've had peer support through AgriScop groups and the access to webinars with lots of really helpful advice on growing. Here we are growing soft fruit raspberries, so we have about 200 raspberry canes. We have pick your own flowers, so a range of cut flowers, as well as spring bulbs we've had this year, and pumpkins. So when we took the land on last September, it was really just a field of weeds really. So the first thing we had to do was top the land and then assess how we were going to go forward with the plan. We had issues with waterlogging in the autumn winter, so we used Farming Connect advice there to look at the drainage issues and how we could go forward. That's also then helped us to plan out the site, so we knew where to plant certain things. This year is a learning curve as it's our first 12 months, but it kind of fits in okay. So we've got lambing in March, kind of April time, so we will then go into some spring flowers, and then we've got pumpkins in October, so that's really a quiet time for the sheep. We've been doing Pick Your Own for the last month, and we have predominantly used social media, so Facebook, we've used boosted post and ads, and that's really got us out to a wider audience. So a lot of the people that we have had come here are people who we don't know at all, but just liked our idea and our vision here. So they've come and we've welcomed them for our Pick Your Own days. So we predominantly use a no-dig method. It's for our own ease, as well as, well, for many other reasons really. We also mulch with sheep's wool, which is a great resource to use. Obviously not really worth as much now, so it's an ideal way to add value to our own wool. Making it manageable is really the main piece of advice I would give. Work out how it's going to fit in around your current systems and the times of year, like growing such things as pumpkins and flowers. There is more to it than just the actual part where people come to pick. So you've got to think about growing from seed and the propagation. There's a lot to consider, so work out how it will fit in with you and make it manageable. You've got to make the site somewhere that people want to come to and somewhere that's safe for people to come to. So maybe a smaller scale is sometimes better than going too big. And just so you can keep on top of things like weeds, because weeds get totally out of control in no time.
Un sector sydd wedi gweld twf anferthol yn dilyn rheolau Covid-19 yw'r sector twristiaeth yng Nghymru. Rydym ni yma yn Whole House Farm Talgarth, lle mae Ceili a Hyw wedi buddsoddi yn sylweddol mwyn ychwanegu incwm o'r sector dwristiaeth i'w busnes. Wow, Kaylee Hugh, you have built an amazing and an impressive diversification project here at Whole House Farm. So could you give us a little outline of your farming business then?
Okay, so traditionally we farm between 500 and 600 acres on a all sheep system, grass based, just keeping it nice and simple. But then we decided to diversify in 2018.
So how did you decide to go about to set up this diversification project, and where did the idea come from?
So we see ourselves as custodians of the whole house, and like Hugh said, that we were farming traditionally. We wanted to make a diversification. The barns down here weren't fit for agricultural use anymore, so we wanted to make use of that asset. Both of us have done Agri Academy, the business and innovation, on 2 separate years, and that's definitely given us confidence and the networking ability to go ahead with the development of the whole house. So I think the project has rolled, it's developed over time. We were originally going to do 2 or 3 holiday lets out of the same property. And then as we started to do our market research, we used Farming Connect to use the business advisory with Jeremy and Lanska, his company. We actually saw that we wanted to go more into the large-scale holiday accommodation, have that one big focal table, that you've got family groups, hen parties, multi-generational individuals coming to stay. So we then decided to go for that one big house, sleep in 20 over the 10 bedrooms, jump straight into that market. A lot of people would start with like a 2-bedroom holiday let as their first diversification. We've gone straight in there with a large-scale accommodation. So yeah, that would have given us challenges, but we've got a good network around us, and through Farming Connect with Agri Academy, the advisory groups, AgriScop, the one-to-one mentoring, we have pretty much utilised everything that Farming Connect has to offer, and all those different aspects have come together and helped us produce this, I think. One of the things we'd like is to build a real good team around us, so we can do all that we can in terms of marketing with the barns or promoting our produce with the farm, but we need that network and that team around us with the cleaners or the farm workers that can help us drive the business forward.
Do you feel that you've developed a lot of those skills maybe you didn't have when you were just farming day to day, and as you said, just dealing with animals? It's opened up a whole new sort of skill set for you.
For both of us, we work to each other's strengths and weaknesses, and then actually accepting help. I think that is a huge thing for us. We like to think, and I think traditionally with the farm, we think that we can just do it all ourselves, but we need to now get people on board, whether it be like a business advisor or just extra manpower. So for us, we just need to delegate, isn't it, time management to drive both businesses forward and anything else that we've got in the pipeline. We've just launched a secure dog walking facility on the edge of the grounds. So it's 2 pens, 6-foot fencing buried into the ground to welcome people hourly to private rent the paddocks. And then, yes, there's always more in the pipeline. Hugh probably doesn't want to hear half of it, but we'll get there.
So marketing this property is probably a big job. How have you gone about this, and what avenues do you use to promote yourself?
It's definitely a huge job. We utilise social media. So we've got a Facebook page and Instagram page, and have been for the farm and also for the whole house, and now for the whole yard. We've definitely been building our following and just showcasing what we do on the farm primarily, and then with the barns, then we've been showing the diversification as it's gone along. It's lovely for the guests to see where we've come from and where we are now as they're walking around the rooms. And then we promote then direct booking, that they can come direct through to us. Well, social media is just so powerful. Definitely, I'm very visual, so I like my pictures. So we put a lot of pictures on, and then trying to venture more into reels. And we put a video, so our shearers came the one day and they said we were a bit old just using Instagram, that we should use TikTok. So we utilised TikTok. The first video went on and it went viral. We had 350,000 unique views. That generated 6 direct bookings that came through to us. So as a team, we need to use that, utilise it a bit more to promote ourselves that way. But then definitely word of mouth. So the guests that are coming, I would say 40% of the guests that have come have rebooked already for next year or into 2023. And if they haven't direct booked, someone within their group has told people what we're like, and then they've booked as well.
When guests arrive, we give them an experience, not just a holiday. So they've actually got things to do when they're here. Like we put in there an assault course, little things, isn't it?
We pride ourselves on the little details. And for the multi-generational, for all, so whether it be the kids or the adults, we've got a zip wire, a 10 obstacle assault course, we've got a party bus, we've got the wood-fired hot tub, the games barn, we're offering weddings next year. So it's just all about those little touches. And like as the guests go through the week, that they're still finding little details that we've put in, that gives us a big boost. And also on farm, they can come up to see us at Whole House Farm. They've come to watch shearing, they've given it a little go, they've tried wool rolling. So it's really good for them to see the on-farm work that we do also.
And then to finish off then, if you could both give me 3 top tips for anyone or any business in Wales who are thinking about diversifying.
Utilise the help around you. So like we've always suggested that Farm and Connect have been pinnacle for us as a business, and the different avenues that we've utilised with them. Networking, I would say is 2. Again, that goes hand in hand with, I suppose, Farm and Connect.
And well, for me, is don't be afraid to change. Just try and open your eyes really and look at new things.
Yeah, embrace
and just sort of give it a go.
Perfect. Thank you very much both. It's been amazing, and it's been amazing to see the project that you've done, and you've worked so hard here at Whole House Farm.
Thank you.
A dyna ni wedi dod I ddiwedd yr rhaglen heddiw. Os hoffech ragor o wybodaeth am unrhyw beth sydd wedi cael ei drafod heddiw, neu unrhyw elfen o gyswllt ffermio, cofiwch I gysylltu gyda'ch swyddog datblygu lleol neu rhif canolig cyswllt ffermio. Diolch.